Revenge office stories. My petty coworkers thought they had me cornered, like a mouse in a trap they'd carefully baited and set. They spent weeks scheming, whispering in corners, and crafting a whole new set of rigid office rules designed specifically to punish me for daring to have a work schedule that didn't mirror theirs. They imagined it would clip my wings, force me into their monotonous routine, and make me suffer for what they saw as my unfair perks. Little did they know, I was about to embrace their new rules with such flawless, unwavering precision that it would dismantle their own comfortable little world, costing them their cherished long lunches, their lazy, flexible start times, and even their fragile sense of superiority. They set a trap for me, and then, blinded by their own jealousy, they stumbled right into it themselves, sealing their fate in a way that still makes me chuckle years later. But to truly grasp how I ended up reclaiming my afternoons for personal bliss, sipping coffee at home while they were chained to their desks until the bitter end, we have to rewind and dive deeper into the origins of this corporate drama. It all began in the seemingly mundane trenches of office politics, where egos clash and small resentments fester into full-blown battles. Picture this: a sprawling corporate headquarters, buzzing with the hum of keyboards and the scent of stale coffee, where productivity often took a back seat to appearances. This wasn't just any workplace. It was a place where alliances formed over water cooler gossip, and where one person's success could ignite envy in others. My story unfolds here, amid the fluorescent lights and endless meetings, revealing how a simple schedule adjustment sparked a chain reaction of pettiness, strategy, and sweet, satisfying revenge. At 40, I'm what you'd call a seasoned professional, someone who's navigated the twists and turns of corporate life with a mix of grit, experience, and a healthy dose of realism. I've climbed the ranks in various roles, from entry-level analyst to senior coordinator, learning the hard way that success isn't just about talent. It's about adaptability and knowing when to stand your ground. The company I worked for was a massive multinational corporation, the kind with glossy annual reports and a reputation for innovation, but surprisingly forward-thinking when it came to employee well-being. They preached work-life balance like a mantra, implementing policies that allowed flex time across most departments. The core hours were loosely set between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., meaning as long as the team's responsibilities were covered. Phones ringing from 9 to 5, emails answered promptly, and projects delivered on time. Nobody micromanaged your exact arrival or departure. It was a system that rewarded results over rigid presence, and it worked beautifully for those who could handle the autonomy. My own setup was tailored to my unique circumstances, born out of necessity rather than entitlement. Living on the outskirts of the city, my commute was a grueling ordeal. 2 hours each way during peak traffic, dodging congested highways, erratic drivers, and the occasional roadwork delays that turned a simple drive into a test of patience. Years ago, after proving my reliability in a previous role, I negotiated a formal agreement with my then manager. I'd arrive at the office by 8 a.m. every day, diving straight into the workload while the building was still quiet and half empty. In exchange, I'd clock out at 4 p.m., beating the evening rush and reclaiming some semblance of personal time. This wasn't a sneaky loophole or a favor pulled through connections. It was documented in my HR file, approved by upper management, and had been my routine for over 5 years without a single complaint or hiccup. I prided myself on being more than just punctual. I was a powerhouse performer. Arriving early meant I tackled the morning influx solo, sorting through overnight emails from international clients, processing time-sensitive reports, and even jumping on early calls with overseas teams in different time zones. I'd often skip my own breaks, powering through lunch at my desk to approve urgent vendor payments or collaborate on tight deadlines, ensuring the team never missed a beat. My annual reviews reflected this dedication. Glowing feedback on efficiency, initiative, and reliability, with bonuses and promotions to match. Colleagues in other departments even envied my setup, but they respected it because it benefited everyone. I wasn't skating by. I was the unsung hero, keeping the gears turning smoothly from dawn till dusk. Everything shifted gears when corporate restructuring hit, and I was reassigned to a new team in a different division. This group operated under a starkly contrasting dynamic, less about innovation and more about maintaining the status quo through performative busyness. They weren't incompetent. In fact, some were quite skilled in their niches, like crunching numbers or liaising with clients. But their true expertise lay in the art of FaceTime, that insidious office culture where visibility trumps actual output. They'd arrive fashionably late around 9:45 a.m., spend the first half hour brewing elaborate coffee concoctions and exchanging the latest office rumors, then vanish for extended working lunches that stretched into 2-hour social escapades at nearby bistros. By afternoon, they'd huddle in clusters, discussing weekend plans or complaining about workloads in voices loud enough to signal their dedication to anyone passing by. It was all theater, a facade of productivity that masked their preference for comfort over commitment. From day one, my established 4 p.m. exit rubbed them the wrong way, like a splinter they couldn't ignore. It began subtly, passive-aggressive jabs disguised as jokes. As I'd gather my things, one coworker, a middle-aged guy named Mark, always quick with a smirk, would quip, heading out for that half-day spa treatment. Emma? Must be nice. Another, Sarah, the self-appointed office socialite, would glance dramatically at the wall clock, letting out an exaggerated sigh that echoed through the cubicles, as if my departure was a personal affront. They fixated on it, stewing in resentment over what they perceived as my special treatment, conveniently overlooking that my early start meant I was already deep into tasks while they were still commuting or hitting snooze. To them, it wasn't about equity, it was about optics. How dare I leave while they were still grinding away? These snide comments didn't stay isolated. They snowballed into a coordinated assault. Behind closed doors, they lobbied our manager, Tom, a mild-mannered guy in his 50s who avoided conflict like the plague, preferring to bury himself in spreadsheets rather than mediate disputes. They framed my schedule as a morale killer, arguing it fostered division and inequality. Why does Emma get to waltz out early while we're stuck here? They'd complain in group emails and impromptu huddles, omitting key facts like my full 8-hour shifts or the extra duties I absorbed. Their campaign gained traction, fueled by shared lunches where they bonded over their grievances, turning what was once a non-issue into a team-wide crusade. It was classic mob mentality, driven not by logic, but by envy. They didn't want my early mornings. They just wanted to strip away my perceived advantage to level the playing field on their terms. If you've ever navigated the minefield of coworkers who prioritize desk warming over real results, or dealt with that soul-crushing jealousy in a toxic team, smash that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you're in for a treat with how this tale of office intrigue unfolds into epic payback. Tom, our beleaguered manager, found himself caught in the crossfire, his aversion to drama clashing with the escalating tension. He attempted half-hearted mediations, floating ideas like a voluntary, rotating early shift to distribute the burden fairly. But my coworkers balked immediately, their hypocrisy on full display. They had no intention of sacrificing their leisurely mornings or late arrivals. One by one, they cited excuses, family drop-offs, gym routines, or simply not being morning people. It became glaringly obvious that their push wasn't rooted in justice or team harmony. It was pure spite, a bid to control and diminish me, to force conformity that suited their lazy rhythms while punishing my efficiency. The pressure cooker intensified over weeks, with snarky emails, pointed stares during meetings, and even subtle sabotage like delaying handoffs to make my departures look rushed. Finally, Tom summoned me to his office, his face etched with exhaustion and apology. The room felt stuffy, cluttered with stacks of reports and a wilting plant in the corner, mirroring his deflated spirit. "Emma," he sighed, rubbing his temples, "this has blown up beyond what I expected. The team won't drop it. They're insisting on standardized hours for everyone, claiming it's essential for cohesion." I hate to say this, but I might have to enforce a 9 to 5 shift for you, or we could explore transferring you to another department where your schedule might fit better. The words hit like a gut punch. After years of loyalty exceeding expectations and propping up the team single-handedly in those early hours, I was being sidelined to placate a bunch of underperformers. Transferring wasn't viable. It would mean starting over in a new role, losing seniority, and potentially facing the same issues elsewhere. Betrayal burned in my chest, a mix of anger and disbelief. But as I sat there, staring at the motivational poster on his wall, spouting cliches about teamwork, a spark ignited, a calculated resolve. If they craved rules, I'd give them rules. I'd comply so meticulously that their victory would taste like ashes. Feigning contemplation, I requested time to mull it over, then proposed a pivotal team meeting to air everything out democratically. Tom latched onto the idea like a lifeline, eager for resolution. My coworkers, sensing triumph, strutted around with inflated egos, oblivious to the storm brewing. They thought they'd won the war. Little did they know, the real battle was just beginning. So there I was, seemingly backed into a corner by a pack of envious schemers who believed they'd outmaneuvered me. What would you have done? Fought back openly, quit in a blaze of glory, or plotted something sneakier? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're hooked on this unfolding drama of malicious compliance, give this video a thumbs up. The revenge that's coming? It's chef's kiss levels of perfection. The team meeting dawned like a showdown in a Western film, tension thick in the air-conditioned conference room, with its bland beige walls and a long table scattered with notepads and half-empty water bottles. My colleagues filed in fashionably late, of course, their faces beaming with barely concealed glee, convinced this was their coronation. Mark adjusted his tie smugly. Sarah flipped her hair with an air of victory, and the others exchanged knowing nods. Tom kicked things off nervously, outlining the agenda and opening the floor for discussion, his voice wavering as he hoped for civility. One after another, they unleashed their rehearsed monologues, a symphony of buzzwords and feigned concern. Mark led with promoting equity across the board, conveniently ignoring his own tardy habits. Sarah chimed in about fostering a unified team spirit, her tone dripping with insincerity as she glanced my way. Others piled on, citing standardized protocols and eliminating perceived favoritism, painting a picture of harmony that masked their true agenda. I remained silent throughout, my expression neutral, jotting occasional notes to heighten their anticipation. They expected resistance, a heated debate, perhaps tears or pleas. The room buzzed with their self-assured energy. When my turn came, all eyes locked on me, hungry for the confrontation. Instead, I leaned back, offering a serene, almost benevolent smile that threw them off balance. "You've all articulated this so eloquently," I began, my voice steady and warm, laced with just enough humility to sell it. "I've listened carefully, and I realize now how my unique arrangement might inadvertently disrupt the flow. You're absolutely right. Fairness should be paramount." The room lit up. Grins spread like wildfire, shoulders relaxed. They were hooked, reveling in what felt like my surrender. With that in mind, I pressed on smoothly. "I fully support aligning our schedules. Let's commit to a strict 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the entire team. No exceptions, no flex. It's the best way forward for everyone." Ecstatic agreement erupted. They nodded vigorously, voices overlapping in hasty affirmations. Tom, spotting an easy win, jumped in. "Great, consensus achieved. Starting Monday, it's 9 to 5 across the board. Meeting adjourned." I raised a hand, politely, my smile unwavering. "Just a few logistical clarifications to ensure smooth implementation," I added innocently. The first flicker of unease crossed their faces. "Regarding phone coverage," I explained cheerfully, "with my arrival now at 9 a.m., we'll need a fair rotation for that crucial 8 to 9 slot. It's particularly vital during the upcoming international soccer tournament. Those early matches draw a flood of urgent calls from global partners, which I've managed solo for years. Someone will have to step up daily to handle the volume, the queries, and any escalations. Panic rippled through the group. Wide eyes and shifting seats betrayed their oversight. They'd erased my early contributions from their narrative, forgetting the grunt work that shielded their mornings. And about breaks, I continued, my tone light as air. Under this new, rigid structure, I'll naturally observe my full, company-mandated 1-hour lunch, completely away from my desk, perhaps a stroll in the park or a quick errand. No more multitasking through meals for those last-minute approvals or crisis interventions. The silence that followed was profound, a vacuum sucking the joy from the room. Their visions of extended lunches shattered, the casual, 2-hour escapes to trendy cafes, complete with wine and gossip, were now relics. The sports-watching slacks in the morning? Obliterated. They demanded uniformity, and I'd served it on a silver platter, exposing the flaws in their short-sighted plan. The inaugural Monday of the new era unfolded like a comedic disaster movie, with my coworkers thrust into the harsh reality they'd engineered. Gone were the leisurely arrivals. Instead, a frantic scramble ensued over who drew the short straw for early phone duty. Mark, assigned first, grumbled through the hour, missing his beloved soccer highlights as calls piled up. Frustrated clients, urgent invoices, and technical glitches he fumbled through ineptly. The resentment boiled over in hushed complaints. Their faces twisted in regret as they realized the fairness they'd championed meant sacrificing their own comforts. Lunchtimes transformed into a rushed ordeal. What once were indulgent, staggered 2-hour affairs became a synchronized 60-minute dash, with everyone clocking out simultaneously. Desks piled with half-eaten salads and takeout wrappers as urgent tasks waited unattended, payments delayed, emails unanswered, deadlines teetering. Sarah, who loved her extended breaks for shopping sprees, now wolfed down meals while glaring at the clock. The team's productivity dipped noticeably, irony at its finest, as the very flexibility they'd killed had been the glue holding things together. Inevitably, the backlash hit Tom's desk, a barrage of grievances about the unworkable schedule, pleas for reversals. But he held firm, gesturing to the meeting minutes they'd all endorsed. This is what the team decided unanimously, he'd remind them, his relief at avoiding further drama evident. They were hoist by their own petard, trapped in a system of their design with no easy escape. Then came the cherry on top, a private chat with Tom a week later, his demeanor unusually upbeat amid the office gloom. Leaning in conspiratorially, he revealed the company's master plan. In 6 months, our department would relocate to a sleek new facility mere minutes from my home, slashing my commute to a breezy 10-minute drive. The root of my schedule, that hellish traffic, would evaporate, rendering the 9 to 5 a minor blip for me. I'd soon reclaim flexibility organically, while they remained shackled indefinitely. In the interim, I embraced the change, savoring full lunches with books in the park, enjoying lions, and watching their discomfort from afar. Their scheme had boomeranged spectacularly, turning their triumph into torment. In the end, this saga boils down to a timeless lesson in the perils of pettiness. Be cautious what you demand, for it might ensnare you instead, and never dismiss the composed colleague who masters the fine print better than anyone. My toxic teammates, in their haze of jealousy and short-sighted control, constructed a cage meant for me, only to lock themselves inside without an exit strategy. Their plan crumbled under the weight of its own hypocrisy, exposing how fragile their comforts were when true equality was enforced. Looking back, it wasn't just revenge, it was a masterclass in strategic compliance, a reminder that quiet strength often outmaneuvers loud bluster. What's your take? Did this qualify as the ultimate petty payback? Or have you witnessed something even more devious? Share your stories in the comments. I'd love to hear them. If tales of workplace warriors turning the tables on bullies resonate with you, don't forget to subscribe for more. And check out this related video popping up now for another dose of satisfying comeuppance. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Until next time, keep thriving despite the toxins around you.